the main answer to the question, where should I grind, is based on where your gear is. Oh my god. Hello and welcome. My name is Jimmy. This is our second Brighter Shores video. I thought I'd put together a guide. We've been getting a million questions on stream asking where's the best place to grind? What should I be grinding? I'm level this, my gear is this. What's the best thing to do in Hopeport? We've been progressing through guard. I think I'm one of the higher guards on the server right now. We're just over 100 million XP in the guard profession, which puts us really close to level 230. I think this question is actually more intricate, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to train your own guard level all the way up to 500. Nobody's actually hit even like 250, 300 yet, so this is still very early on, so some of this advice may become outdated. So we're uploading this in mid-November. Hopefully this advice will stand the test of time, but I hope you find this information helpful. So the first section that we're going to do is going to be an overview of combat. So if you're coming from RuneScape, you might not understand how this game works because it's very different, it's very surprising. So the way that I've started explaining it to people is that every time you reach a new episode, you are in a new starting zone. So when you log in for the very first time, you're in a new starting zone. When you enter episode 2, you're in a starting zone. All of your gear is locked in to a specific zone, unless it is marked as untuned, in which case it can be basically assigned permanently, irreversibly, to a episode of your choosing. You just have to do the quest, the Obelisk. I'm not going to make a guide on it. There's some great ones out there. Check out many of the videos that are already on YouTube. As for gearing up, that means that every time that you level up, you're going to have equipment, right? So when you log in Brighter Shores the very first time and you're in the training grounds, it's very likely the first thing you'll kill will actually just be guards. They're called sparring guards. To give you a perspective of what's going to happen here, we're going to go into the second section of the video. So understanding the layout of a zone is very important. In this case, we wanted to talk about specifically guard. So I'm going to show you on screen. You can see there's 8 different monsters, right? We have basically, they're split into 4 categories, right? We have 2 monsters that are basically within affinity advantage for each of the 3 classes. So hammer mages, which is the Tempest affinity, those are strong against both goblin types, the soldiers and chiefs, kind of on the east side of the map. Then you have Cryo Knights with the ice affinity, right? They are strong against crows and carnivorous plants. And then you have Guardians, which are strong against ghouls and thieves. That is the nature or arbore infinity. As for the other 2 monsters, one of them is a hare beast. These are actually dealing necro damage. They're actually weak to necro damage, which there's currently like not a necromancer class. So I have a quick graphic I just want to share with you guys. On my stream, Lucky Slevin had made an excellent kind of matrix, right, of each of the different episodes and what the monsters are. I'm not sure if this is his original content, but this is a very helpful chart. You can get the full version on stream if you want. It's like exclamation, strength, weakness. This basically outlines, you know, this monster deals this type of damage, and I am this class, so this is the best thing for me to grind, right? As a hammer mage, we're always dealing necro, but if we roll weapons, for example, that deal fire, they're actually really bad because goblins are completely immune to fire, so every time we proc that fire damage, it's not going to help us. You can see that when we're fighting, right? This is actually an AFK monster, but when you fight these monsters, you can always click these cards on the actual current active foes list. You actually can see that the same names repeat all the way down the list. So at the very end of the profession, right, you'll see this high tier carnivorous plant. And while you can't click it to see its exact XP drop or stats, right, you can just go to an earlier level carnivorous plant, right? You can find it here, level 28. The level 28 one has 192 HP and it gives 82 XP. But the attack, the immunity, and the vulnerability will be the same all the way through that entire episode for that type of plant. So the word snap here, snap carnivorous plant, is going to be replaced by higher versions. So everybody, at any given moment when they enter an episode, they have these specific 8 monsters, and they'll show up on their map even. So if we go into our detailed map view, you can see that I currently have 245 thieves. I currently have 263 soldiers. If you're like level 1, you're gonna actually see different labels on your map that are literally built for you. So your world is scaling to your levels. This is also true for non-combat stats like pufferfish, right? I think that's pretty clear. But what's important to know is that you can at any time click on these active foes or previous ones, right, to get their information just to remember their affinity. But it does help to memorize those. So the main answer to the question, where should I grind, is based on where your gear is. So when you're fighting a monster, you can actually click on your profile, right? So if I go to any monster, right, we could literally go and click on a thief. Once we get into combat, you'll see a specific UI here. You can click on your own avatar and you can see we have an equipment up arrow rating. Now this up arrow rating basically means that we have better than average gear. It'll show average, up arrow, double arrow. I've never really seen what it looks like as you get worse. But the idea is that as you get further above average, you can grind harder things. But as you're below average, you need to be grinding things that may be far below your level. You may incur an XP penalty. This is kind of the nature of randomness in this game. It's going to get really interesting in the long term. Given your current equipment, you can see that we currently have at level 229, we only have 4 rare pieces and 2 epic gear. It's actually fairly good, right? And then we're using a blue 222 uncommon. So we have a decent throwing weapon, but we've not really had good luck on our weapons in a very long time. In fact, the last epic that we saw for weapons was at 188, and they were not type advantage. We've actually maybe even fallen back a little bit in the guard race, somewhat because of RNG. We've also been looking at investing our knowledge points efficiently into other skills. But I know it's cost me quite a bit that we haven't had, like, for example, an epic stone mace that dealt necro damage would be very good against the hair beast when we were, you know, around the 185 to 200 range. But I had to do it with a blue mace. Even at some points I used a common mace. There was one point in my progression, you guys, where I had 5 uncommons. 5 commons, the green gear equipped. And that's after having been almost full epics in like the 30s and the 50s, right? So the general trend is that you're going to get less epic gear as you get higher level. And hopefully as time passes, you guys are going to see more people, you know, leveling stone macing, leveling all the armor skills that might be coming with episode 5. These may help players trade more gear that's untuned, and the market may be easier, but right now it's one of the biggest challenges for people who are focusing to do combat. There's also the armory in episode 4. You may be able to get some lucky rolls that could help you, right? So I'd like to believe that there is a way for everyone to level up. One interesting thing too, I did mention this on stream the other day, if you use all of your current equipment and you're like at the middle, you probably can take off like most of your gear, and I could go kill these level 180 sparring guards, right? Those are 49 levels lower than us. So if we take that into consideration, there's often an advantage to using knowledge of where your average gear is overall, particularly your weapon, right? Your weapon is going to hold you back. It's going to push you forward. It's just one of the cool, kind of somewhat annoying sometimes parts of the progression, right? You're going to love it, you're going to hate it. And that's part of the fun, I think, especially after level 200 once things slow down a little bit. Hopefully this information's been helpful. I didn't want to make this guide super long, but that should at least answer your question. So if you're level 150 and you're just rolling epics, maybe you can kill that 160. But if you're 150 and all of your gear sucks, trying to like look down, you have to kind of get a feel for it, right? So the thing is, how good is advantage? One thing that is very important to mention, if you have type advantage, so if you're a hammer mage and you're wielding anything that has tempest damage, it'll roll 40 to 50% higher base tempest roll. So I'm going to see all of my tempest gear. If we look at a couple pieces, it's going to be about 75 to 90% for every single tempest piece that I own, that I loot, everything, right? Your class determines the weapons that you roll. You'll see like numbers anywhere from about 25 to 50% for any non-affinity class dealing damage types. So that means every time I go to hair beasts, I might be getting less XP than if I was able to push a little bit further on goblins, because hammer mages like goblins, right? Because of the type affinity. So I would just always say, try and maximize. You might be able to push 15, 20, 25 even levels higher than something you have affinity against versus something that you do not, especially if it aligns with your affinity. So I always recommend like the Cryo Knights, right? They should be pushing really far past those Death Crows because they're gonna have a rougher time, right, as well. They're not gonna get as many high hits. We don't have the exact math on how affinity bonuses work, but yeah, guys, I think we'll kind of wrap it up here. I think that's gonna be the video. I hope you get good gains in the game. We're going to be trying to upload about 2 videos every week. I stream nearly every day. So far every day. I'd like to keep that up as long as possible. I'm aiming for at least 5 streams a week. We're going to try and keep our hours solid. We're going to be training 24/7. The AFK methods are insane in this game, so you can expect a second video this week covering AFK methods because I have a lot of data that is very interesting. I've been testing methods including the 209, the 218, and later we will be publishing some data on the 237, and I'm going to do a few different tests using different weapons. There's some really interesting data. Sneak peek, it looks like AFK methods, at least for guard, are better per hour than they were pre-200. So very excited to share some new data with you guys. Drop in a like on the video if you think this is cool information. I always appreciate any support, you guys. The subs, everything adds up. You guys are incredible. This stream community has been it's been absolutely crazy. So thank you so much, and hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it might be. Have a wonderful time, and hope to see you in game. Take it easy. Bye-bye.